guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Okay guys, I'm back and boy do I have some explaining to do. It is Monday, April 8th and it is 7:22 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, I know that many of you clicked on my video last night and discovered it had no sound. And many of you jumped to a conclusion, which would be a reasonable conclusion, that perhaps my naughty kitten had chewed through my wires again. Well, you would be wrong. That's not what happened at all. What happened was I have a USB port on my computer that's not working, and I had plugged the microphone into that. So I'm going to have to watch that going forward. You would think that I would check in between my videos, and usually I do. I upload a video and then I'll read a few comments, then I'll go on to recording the next one. Well, that's not what happened last night. I did a little bit over an hour video, and I took a break to feed the cats and came back and re-recorded without reading any comments. If I had taken 2 minutes to look at the comments, I would have known and fixed it before I did the second video. But as it was, I did around 2 hours of recording last night for nothing. But, you know, I know most people would be extremely upset and angry, but when I looked through the comments, how could I be angry, really, with an audience like you? Seriously, how could I be angry? Because I looked through the comments and I thought, first of all, like I've got a little thing that tells me what percentage of likes each video got. And I'm like, 97% likes. And then I'm reading the comment and I thought, well, that's down a little bit, because usually it's around, a lot of times it's 99% or 98.5%. So I thought, oh, it's down a bit. I wonder what, if there was something that someone was upset about. So I looked at the comments and I thought, okay, who gives a thumbs up to a video with no sound? Y'all do. Yes, you do. That is how nice you guys are. Now, people sometimes don't believe me when I say, listen, you would not believe how nice the people on this channel are. Really, really nice, good quality people. And, now, this is absolute proof. I just could not believe that you all were so understanding, and the comments were hysterical. So what I'm going to do is, once I upload this, I'm going to make that other video private so that I can keep those comments, but nobody else will be able to see it, and people won't be out there clicking on it. But I put a little note on it, a disclaimer that I was going to redo the video. Now, granted, I can't really recreate a video once it's done, and I was in rare form last night, I'll just tell you that much. And a lot of you wondered about me waving my foot in the air. Well, I had just gotten back from the gym, and I said, look, I dressed all up for you guys tonight. And then I said, I've even got my gym clothes on, and I waved my foot in the air. And of course it was all covered with cat hair too, if you noticed. So anyway, that's what the foot waving was about. And I told many other stories, which I don't even know if I can remember now what I was talking about, but I guess we'll just go along. And I'm going to go through the same news articles that I went through before, and so I'll try to recreate it as best I can. And we don't have any Q posts tonight, so I'm going to do 2 videos of Q-related news, and I may even try, if the night is young and I've still got energy, to do a 3rd one, because I feel guilty. Now, the night before last night, okay, you understand what happened. The night before that, I was meaning to post, and I had a problem. Yes, this time it was my cat's fault, and I hurt my back trying to have a cat intervention. So I was in a lot of pain, and I ended up not recording. But I'm doing much better now, and I am ready to go, and I hope you guys are as well. Thank you so much for your patience and understanding. You guys are the bestest, really. So let's get going here, and let's get off this infinity screen that drives most people crazy. And let's get back into the news that you should have heard last night. And some of it is what you should have heard 2 nights ago. I'm only human. I'm only human. So, all right. Also, I want to tell you, this is not being chatty. This is something very serious. There are a lot of people right now. There is a huge push on. There's shills, so many shills. They are duplicating material on YouTube. They are also doing the same on Twitter. In fact, they're making it seem like it's coming from a certain person's account when it really, they've made a new account, and there's people on there claiming that Q has posted when he hasn't. Q has not posted since March 29th. And look to the people that you trust on YouTube, on Twitter, wherever. If you trust that person and they're a person that decodes Q or whatever, trust them. If they haven't posted anything updating Q posts, then there are no Q posts. I just want to warn people, because some of these accounts, like I was going through today and I was getting confused. I was like, is this the real person or is this a fake person? And sometimes you can tell by what they're saying, because they'll start talking against the movement, but it's somebody that's always been for the movement. So there are fake accounts out there. Just be careful. I'm not fake. I'm still the same Mishel that I've always been. Really, like when I pinch myself, it hurts. Not really. That didn't really hurt, but anyway, if I cut myself, I'd bleed. But I'm not going to do that, because that would be psychologically, there'd be something wrong with me if I did that. All right, let's get into the news. All right, here's the first thing. At 32, Richard Blumenthal, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I have to keep checking now. Let me go back for a second. Yes, Mr. Microphone seems to be working just fine. All right. Now my mind is at ease. I'll go on. At 32, Richard Blumenthal met his then 16-year-old wife. Yes, 16-year-old wife. He got 5 deferments to stay out of Vietnam, then claimed he was there. Net worth in 2016 was $62 million, just chump change, I guess. In 2017, $70 million. Yeah, up $8 million in 1 year on a $174,000 salary. In 2015, he received a $31,475 tax return. We demand to see his taxes. Absolutely. You know, I'm not so much worried about President Trump's tax returns. In fact, I don't care. I don't want to see them. I don't care what he earned. I really don't. He is a businessman. He's always been a businessman. He builds extremely expensive property. And real estate. He owns some of the most expensive real estate in the world. And yeah, you would expect him to be making a lot of money, right? Now, has he ever done something that, might be a little shady? I don't know, maybe. But what I'd like to know, what I'm more interested in, is not how a businessman got rich, how a developer, how a builder, someone like Donald J. Trump, how someone like that got rich. I don't care. Good for him. Good for him. That's the American dream. I don't care about how he got rich. I want to know how the politicians got rich on a $174,000 salary, a civil servant's salary. Now, yes, granted, that's a good salary, but it's not a salary where you're going to amass $60, $70, $80,000 or $80 million, right? Unless you are the world's best investor. Just doesn't happen. But they all seem to get rich as soon as they take office. It doesn't take long, and they're in the millions. They're rolling in the millions. How does that happen? Well, we all know, don't we? But anyway, that's the tax returns that I would like to see, especially Nancy Pelosi would love to see her tax return. Really, I would love to. But yeah, the Democrats keep yelling and screaming about Donald Trump's tax return. Who cares what he was making before he took office? He certainly hasn't made any money in office. He gives away his salary, and so do his children, by the way. They give their salary away as well. And not only that, he is the only president ever to reduce his wealth while in office. The only one. What's up with that? And yet, he's the one they're picking on. Right. Right, the one who's donating his entire salary to the American people, really, because he's donating it to, places in the government that need it. Unbelievable, really. I mean, the Democrats can turn anything negative. I mean, talk about twisting. They're like, that wily serpent, the devil, slewfoot, sticky foot, I call him. But anyway, let's go on. And here I included this. I didn't include it in yesterday's, but I included it in this because this impressed me from Geraldo Rivera, because I haven't always agreed with him at all. In fact, especially during all this Trump goings on. But listen to this. Geraldo Rivera, did a single Democrat break ranks to apologize to Donald Trump for torturing him for 2 years with a Russian collusion hoax? Did any Democrats say, we're sorry, we went too far, for too long, and with too little legitimate reason? No, none. I don't know of any that have apologized to him. Certainly none have apologized publicly. Now, if they have apologized privately to him, that's another, that's a whole other thing. But I would think that even if they had, Trump, being the prolific tweeter that he is, would say so. So I don't believe any of them have, personally. So anyway, let's go on. So bravo to Geraldo Rivera for saying that. It took bravery to even say that. All right. Now, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this one first, and then we're going to get into this $21 trillion unaccounted for. Cat turd. I love me some cat turd. I'm just saying. I do. I think that this person, whether male or female, is quite hysterical, and I love following them on Twitter. Anyway, cat turd. Alec Baldwin teases presidential run. Beating Trump would be so easy. So easy. Alec knows about beating. Just ask every woman he ever dated. Yeah, I love that. This person is very witty. I'd love to know who they are in real life, but it's probably better that we don't, because it's funnier just having like a cat as their their profile picture and being called cat turd. But anyway, as well as that is true, he did say that that it would be just so easy to beat Trump, so easy. Well, I think he should run. I think it would be really good entertainment for all of us. So I hope he does run. I really do. Because that would just keep us in stitches. Anyway, let's get into this. It won't be surprising to anyone, but I can't, oh, sorry. I'm hearing my my cat doing something. Yes, you know which one it is. All right, now, Pentagon audit. Remember they said they were going to have a Pentagon audit? Yes. Evidence proving 21 trillion, yes, that's trillion, with a T, unaccounted for. Opening statement. Now, this is global research by David DeGraw. According to the United States government documents, since 1998, the Office of the Inspector General has reported 21 trillion in unaccounted for money. 21 trillion. Now, when I balance my bank book, I might be off by a couple cents. 21 trillion. As unbelievable and absurd as that sounds, the actual total of unaccounted for money at the Pentagon is most likely significantly more than 21 trillion. Yeah. Researchers are unable to get data for every year of military spending. Many Pentagon agencies do not have any publicly available records. Hundreds of thousands of transactions have been erased, and an estimated millions of transactions do not have any traceable record. Well, gee, I wonder why that would be. I wonder why they would not want any traceable record. You would think, the Pentagon would want to make sure that every, I was dotted and T was crossed, that everything, you would think. You would think. that they would want everything accounted for, lest it end up in some maybe black ops accounts or something, or slush funds, or paying people in foreign governments, or perhaps paying government contractors that they don't want anybody else to know about. Maybe to kill foreign dignitaries. Who knows? Who knows where that money went? But we know it didn't go anywhere good, because if it did, there would be an account of it, right? Because if you're doing good, you want people to know. You want to say, okay, we spent so much money on this. We spent so much money on infrastructure. We spent, right? But they're saying it's more than $21 trillion. Poof. No records. Just gone. Yeah. It's kind of Twilight, kind of stuff, right? It's Twilight Zone type stuff. I'm thinking that it probably went to pay for weapons for ISIS, contract killers. Who knows? Maybe it went to pay for 9/11, which is what I think a lot of that money went, and I think that it's a little bit suspicious that when the plane or missile or whatever they're claiming this week it was, we sure as heck know it wasn't a commercial flight. When that struck the Pentagon, it struck that very office. It struck that very part where the statements of this would be. That's what I understood. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've studied a whole lot about 9/11, a lot. And I may have some details wrong, but yeah. So anyway, interesting. No? I think it's very interesting. As you will see in detail throughout the series of reports, not only have trillions of taxpayer dollars been knowingly dumped into a shockingly unaccountable black hole, Congress is not even sure how much money has been appropriated and given out in the first place. Wow. Yeah. And these are the people that run our country. Yeah. Shocking. I'm very, very, very glad we have a businessman in office now, a businessman who called for an audit of the Pentagon. Really? Because do you think Hillary Clinton would have done that? Are you kidding? She's part of the problem. I'm quite certain, because everything bad leads to Hillary and Obama, it seems. They had that plan to ruin the country. What was it, a 16-year plan? Well, it didn't quite work out the way they wanted because Donald Trump got in. Thank goodness. So, the fact, now where were we here? United States government officials who work for the Defense Finance and Accounting Services, the Office of the Inspector General, and the Government Accountability Office have been reporting on this stunning issue for years. Why hasn't anything been done? The fact that this mind-blowing amount of missing tax money has not been a lightning rod for mainstream media coverage, congressional investigations, and a lead issue for all political representatives, particularly those who claim to care about our skyrocketing national debt, calls into serious question the integrity and legitimacy of all leadership and responsible parties. Well, it sure does. It sure does. And yet, they're complaining about spending $5 billion on a wall, but there's more than $21 trillion missing. What's wrong with this picture? Beyond the outright disregard for the rule of law and lack of consequences for ignoring an annual audit legal requirement, the Pentagon is also flagrantly in violation of the U.S. Constitution. Well. So there is an annual audit legal requirement that they've been ignoring. Why have they been ignoring it? Perhaps they're a little bit embarrassed that they lost $21 trillion. Yeah, I'd be a little embarrassed about that too. Really, I would. The U.S. Constitution in Article 1, Section 9, Clause 7 specifically states, no money shall be drawn from the Treasury, but in consequence of appropriations made by law, and a regular statement and account of the receipts and expenditures of all public money shall be published from time to time. I've never seen it published, have you? No, because it hasn't been. Yeah, there's a good reason why we haven't seen it. Now, note to readers. Oh, okay, note to readers. Please click the share button below. Well, we're sharing it all publicly, so there you go. And how do you like that? Oh my gosh, you know, my cat, he really is wearing me down. He's wearing me down, Sammy. I told you that he was getting up in my couch, right? And so I fixed it. I fixed it so he couldn't get in. Well, I fixed it all right, but I didn't fix it so he couldn't get in because he's in there right now. I can hear him scratching and clawing and eating something. All right. It's wearing me down, man. He's wearing me down. I think I'm in a codependent relationship with my cat because, you know how women that are being beaten and stuff, and they're in this horrible relationship and they say, but I love him. And, and I've said that about Sammy. I know he's bad, but I love him. Well, I think I'm in a codependent relationship with him now. It's not good. It's not good at all. Let's move on. All right, and here we have another interesting article that should enrage you. It certainly enrages me. Now, it didn't happen here, but it certainly could. Sweden, well, it would be great if I could stay on the actual article. Sweden seizes Russian dad's kids to give to Muslim family. Dad takes kids back and flees to Poland. Yes, and you know why they took his kids away? Because his wife was sick and died. Now, he obviously had to take time off work to be with his dying wife, so they took his kids away because he was poor. Yeah, his wife just died. Right. Okay, so let's take a look at this. A Russian father who's had his 3 daughters taken away from him and placed with a Muslim foster family by Swedish social services took his daughters back and fled to Poland, where he's now been given refuge. The Swedish social services decision to place 3 Christian girls in a Muslim Lebanese family has resulted in an international scandal involving Poland. After the Swedish social services attempted to place Dennis Lissov's 3 children in a Muslim foster family, the Russian father took his daughters and fled Sweden, unleashing a thriller-like sequence of events. Dennis Lissov came to Sweden 7 years ago. In 2017, his wife fell ill, whereupon social services decided to take away his children on the grounds that he had no full employment and was therefore unable to take care of them. Well, how could he have full-time employment and take care of his dying wife and 3 children? I'd like to know that. Instead of helping him out, financially, giving him social services, whatever. I'm sure that they have that in Sweden. Most countries do, but no, they take his children away. So Lissov's family formally retained custody of the children, but only had the right to see them 6 hours a week. The Swedish news outlet reported, according to I can't pronounce his name, who represented the Lissovs, that's their lawyer, they weren't given any opportunity to defend their rights, and the girls didn't want to stay there. Well, why would they? I'm sure that going from a Christian home to a Muslim home where they were probably required to wear head covering and so forth and not leave the house, what have you. I'm sure that would be quite the shock to them. And not only that, but having just lost their mother and being taken away from their father. A Polish court, after the daughters had spent over a year in the Muslim family, about 300 kilometers from their real father, that's a long way. That's a long way to make those kids. Now, here's this guy who is already short of money, and they put the daughters in a Muslim home 300 kilometers away. That's quite the drive. Dennis had had enough. He took his daughters and decided to run to Russia. However, he was stopped at Warsaw Airport as the Swedish authorities reported his daughters missing. Therefore, he has applied for asylum in Poland instead. A Polish court ruled that the Swedish Social Services had violated an EU convention that forbids the placement of children in foreign cultural environments. The court also noted that Lissoff's paternity rights had not been revoked, which is why the children could stay with their father. The children have a very strong bond with the father, and when I talked to them, they told me that they want to stay with their father and love him and do not want to be separated from him. Judge Janetta, again, it's a foreign name I can't pronounce, said, as quoted by another person whose name I can't pronounce. I apologize, but these foreign names are quite challenging. According to Lissoff, the youngest girls didn't understand anything, but the eldest one had problems adapting to the harsh environment of the Muslim family. Their lawyer, Bartosz Lewandowski, tweeted that the family was happy and rested after the first night spent on their own. And here is that is the eldest girl there. This is the father. And I would assume the others are lawyers. According to Lewandowski, the Muslim foster father also appeared in court. There, he admitted that his visit to Poland had been paid for by the Swedish Social Services. Lewandowski also tweeted that a representative of the Swedish Social Services arrived to pick up the three girls but was stopped by police. He told them something in Swedish which nobody understood. Three Russian girls were to be illegally taken away from their father by Swedish officials on Polish soil, his lawyer tweeted. And there's the father with two of his girls. And there they are all together. Poland is a beautiful country. It is blossoming in my eyes because here can finally be with Dad. Sofia Lissowa, Dennis's eldest daughter, said after the court verdict, as quoted by Arthur Stelmasiak, the editor of the Catholic Weekly. So they are together again. The court's actions were also praised by Poland's authorities. The court has decided that the children stay with their father. Well done, the police and the border police. And that by the Polish Interior Minister. In Sweden, the social services have the responsibility of immediately taking children and young people up to the age of 19 by force, owing to legislation in place to intervene in order to protect children or youths in an emergency situation. Why exactly the social services decided to take away Lissoff's daughters remains unknown. The court also decided that the father had to stay in Poland until his refugee status was granted. Now, that's alarming. That's alarming because obviously these children were not taken in their best interest. What would have been the best in this situation would have been to support the father through social services or whatever and allow the children to stay with their father. Because obviously foster parents are paid. Why not pay the father in that case? It's crazy. And if you say, oh, that couldn't happen here or doesn't happen here, it happens all the time. Maybe it doesn't happen where a child is taken from their parents and given to a foreign into a foreign environment, but it happens all the time. I've heard so many horror stories, and you and I both know it happens. So I'm sure you've heard your own horror stories. So let's go back, and here is, okay, now this is going to be one of those things that you're going to say, it's one of those things that make you go, yeah. I honestly, when I read this and I read it through, I thought it was an April Fool's thing, and I started looking for the date, and I think it's April 4th. This was written, if I'm not mistaken, April 3rd. And then I started thinking, okay, is this actually a legitimate website? WMC5, Action News. I started going through here and seeing, well, no, they're reporting other news that's, obviously quite real. But I think you'll realize why I was incredulous and could not believe what I was reading. I think you're going to see why. And this is going to be probably one of the most bizarre stories of injustice you've ever heard. So let me take a drink of water and prepare myself to, tackle this horrendous crime that this man committed. Man accused of abandoning pet fish faces animal cruelty charges. Well, that in itself made me want to read the article because I'm thinking, okay, I've had fish before, long time ago before I had cats. I just don't know how you could be cruel to a fish. But let's read on. We can all be educated, right? We're all teachable. We've got teachable spirits. So let's just see here what horrendous crime this man committed. New Hanover County, North Carolina. Now, I thought that they had a lot more sense than that. I lived in North Carolina for a while, and I did like it. I enjoyed North Carolina, and I thought the people were very reasonable people, polite, nice. But New Hanover County, what's going on there? A New Hanover County man was arrested on animal cruelty charges after he allegedly failed to provide fresh water and food to his pet fish and abandoned it after he was evicted from his home last month. Yeah. So the man is evicted from his home. He's obviously facing, huge problems in his life. Usually people where everything's ducky don't get evicted from their homes, right? He must be having financial issues of some sort. And what does he do? He leaves his fish there. He probably had to get out in a hurry because most evicted people, not that I've ever been evicted, and I pray to God I never will be, but people that are evicted are usually evicted and they have like 24 hours or whatever to get out. Like once the court orders it, you don't have a long time to get everything out. He leaves his fish there. So the man's homeless. He's homeless. Where's he going to take his fish? Anyway, Michael Ray Hinson, 53, was taken into custody. He was taken into custody on Wednesday and charged with 3 counts of misdemeanor cruelty to animals and 1 count of abandonment of an animal. He was given a $4,000 unsecured bond and later released from jail. So they arrest this man. They arrest him. Okay, then they charge him with animal cruelty. 3 counts, which go on his record, by the way. 3 counts of misdemeanor and $4,000 bond. $4,000. So now, not only is he homeless, he's had to get out of his house, probably on a moment's notice. He leaves his fish behind, and, not a dog or cat, a fish. And now he's not only homeless, but he's got a $4,000 fine and a criminal record because of a fish. That's right. Lieutenant Jerry Brewer, spokesperson for the New Hanover County Sheriff's Office, said Hinson was evicted from his house on 2 Chopped Road on Friday, March 22nd. Deputies with the agency's civil unit went to the home the following Monday and noticed that Hinson left behind an Oscar fish that was in poor health and swimming in a dirty tank. Ethan Lane with the fish room, where the fish is being nursed back to health, Ethan Lane with the fish room, where the fish is being nursed back to health, said an Oscar fish is about $40 to $50 to purchase and can grow up to 16 inches long. What does that have to do with anything? So, oh my gosh, this fish is like $40 to $50. I mean, this man's life over here, we don't care about that. He's worthless. But this fish, man, $40 to $50. We're going to nurse it back to health, man. Yeah, because they can grow up to 16 inches. Yeah, 16 inches. They are great pets. Have you ever owned a fish? would you call it a great pet? We call them wet pets. Okay, well, you need psychiatric help. Really. Ethan Lane with the fish room, you need psychiatric help. They're great pets. Right. You can't take a fish for a walk. You know, fish can't talk to you, can't shake paws with you, can't shake fins with you unless it's, a dolphin. Now, if you leave a dolphin, now I'd have a lot more sympathy for a dolphin, absolutely. But come on now, man. $40 to $50, man. It was $40 to $50. And it was in dirty water. We're nursing it back to health. Can grow up to 16 inches long. They're great pets. They are very trainable. Fish? Yeah, and maybe if you're a killer whale or a dolphin or something. Don't fish have like a 5-second memory or something like that? They're very trainable. They have huge personalities. I have never met a fish with a personality. Ever. Some of them can be aggressive. Lane explained. When deputies seized the fish, it appeared to be malnourished and suffering from hole-in-the-head disease, which is caused by poor water quality and lack of food. Well, can I just interject something here? Forgive me for a second, but, I think most of the Democrats, in Washington, I think they're suffering from hole-in-the-head disease. You know why? Because they've been swimming around in dirty swamp water, right? So let's apply this to them. I'm just saying, it just struck me there. I'm thinking, hole-in-the-head disease. Now we know what's wrong. Now we know what's wrong with the Democrats. That's what they have. Hole-in-the-head disease. Swimming in dirty swamp water. Yeah, but let's get back to this story. So deputies seized the fish. They seized it. Wouldn't that have frightened the poor fish? I mean, seeing as it had such a great personality and all? Wouldn't that have frightened the fish to be seized? Apparently not. When the fish came in, he was in pretty bad shape. Hole in the head is a parasite that starts in the intestines and works from the inside out, slowly killing the fish, said Lane. Democrats, yeah. Hole in the head disease forms lesions on the fish's skin, allowing bacteria to get inside. The disease is fatal if it goes untreated. Hole in the head is somewhat common in Oscar fish, but to prevent it, it's imperative you do constant water quality checks and feed your fish properly, explained Lane. Yeah, I'm sure this guy was really concerned about making sure that his fish got proper nourishment while he was being evicted from his home. He probably did not have a job or any money, which is probably why he was evicted. He was probably homeless, but oh my gosh, he didn't give his fish proper nutrition. And I don't know of anybody who has ever surrendered a fish to the Humane Society. I don't know. Can you do such a thing? I don't know. I've never heard of it. Anyway, but this is a life just like any cat or dog. No, it isn't. It isn't. Or they would be arresting every fisherman in America. Right? Right? You think, putting a hook and pulling a fish out? That's cruelty. It's not a life like any dog or cat, or we wouldn't have fishermen. If you harm or neglect an animal in New Hanover County, we are coming for you. Hide your fish, everyone. Hide your fish. The fish will continue to recover at the fish room in Wilmington and then will be up for adoption at Animal Services. Oh, I'm so happy that they rescued that fish. I'm so happy. I really am. I was so worried about that fish. Never mind about the man, but the fish, man. Oh, the fish. Now, let's go back and, talk about this reasonably. Fish do not feel pain the way humans do, according to a team of neurobiologists who should know more than a man who runs a fish room. behavioral ecologists, and fishery scientists. Yes, scientists, ecologists, and neurobiologists. Not fishroom man. Not fishroom man, but neurobiologists, behavioral ecologists, and fishery scientists. They say fish do not experience pain the way humans do. Dogs and cats, yes, they do. Yes. That's why we don't fish for dogs and cats. Okay, that was silly, but anyway, the researchers conclude that fish do not have the fish do not have the neurophysiological capacity for a conscious awareness of pain. They have no conscious awareness of pain, according to ecologists, scientists, and neurobiologists. Don't tell the sheriffs in New Hanover County, who have nothing better to do than seize a fish and charge a homeless man for $4,000, 3 misdemeanors for leaving a fish. Yeah, remind me not to move to New Hanover County, because I won't. And you can't make me. All right, so there, if you haven't heard, that's just about the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, but there you go. All right, now I'm going to just go on for a few more seconds, then I'm going to cut this off and start uploading another one, but not before I check the sound, because I don't want to do that to you all again. That was just plain cruel. So, let's look at this. Adam Schiff's wife is named Eve. Ironic. Maybe not. Maybe not. Adam and Eve, tempted by the devil, that would be George Soros, oddly enough. Melissa Schiff, Adam's sister, is married to Soros' son. Anyway, Adam's congressional career was funded by Soros financial groups. Think a favor is owed. Well, well, well. The things we come across. The things we come across, yeah. Now, I think I am going to here. Oh, all right, I got to read this one too. Let's close on this one. Then we're going to go on to the next video, because I do want to get this uploaded so that you guys know that I'm working on replacing the videos from last night. This from James Wood. Love this. Anyone suggest this? He's replying to this person that said, anyone suggest help for raging hemorrhoids? James Wood, stop voting for them. That's hysterical. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. That's funny. All right. That's it for this video. I'm going to get this uploaded, and thank you guys so much for your patience and kindness with my technical difficulties from yesterday, and I do apologize. I'm going to get this uploaded. I'll make sure that it has sound, and I will be back with another. All right then. I will talk to you guys real soon. I hope you come back, because I really hate just talking to myself here. It makes me look crazy, and you know, I've got enough people thinking that I'm crazy. So come back, keep me company. Come on, it'll be worth it.